Well, this is the round in which Joe Bugner beat Brian London. Well, there really is a world of difference in this fight tonight. That was a good right hand from Corletti, one of the best punches he's landed so far. But this isn't the Corletti that we saw a few years ago, partly because I think he's not quite the Corletti he was, but more because Bugner is not allowing him to get into the fight. Corletti is slowing down. He stayed around on those ropes a surprisingly long time. You get the feeling in this fight, as in so many of Joe Bugner's fights, that he's boxing well within himself and that if he wanted to, there's a lot more to come. But he's very much under the wraps in these fights. I think he boxes to orders, and he's constantly warned by Andy Smith not to leave himself open, not to get himself into difficult situations, always to keep the thing under control. Well, I think we really only see Bugner at half pace, as it were. I think there's a lot more there to be offered if it's needed. And a little of it unleashed in that corner. Corletti's been a pro for quite a long time. Well, that's not a very elegant sort of thing to have done to you, but it's to try to check the nosebleed that's starting. He's had 42 professional fights. He's won 31, drawn 5, and lost 6 in 9 years, or almost 9 years, as a professional. So this turns out to be the longest fight that Joe Bugner's had for a few months. Ray Patterson took him 8 rounds in April this year, but he hasn't had to go so far as this since. The best win that Corletti probably had in this country was not the one in which he beat Walker, but the one in which he beat George Chuvalo of Canada, whom, as you probably know, is an extremely rough and rugged character. And Corletti completely outboxed him at Olympia in 1966. And in the fight after that, Chuvalo took on Cassius Clay and went 15 rounds with him, which points up the merit of Corletti's win. Bugner's right hand coming into play now. Round 6. Scheduled for 10. Corletti getting the odd left hand in. But Bugner's been the governor of this fight all the way through, and I think at this stage now we should expect to see him beginning to open up a little bit, and clearly the crowd want him to do that. Bugner must be quite well ahead at this stage. Corletti was glad to turn away when the bell came there. One or two really good left jabs, solid left jabs went in from Joe Bugner towards the end of that sixth round. Really getting edgy and impatient for Bugner to open up. But he won't do that until Andy Smith says so. We'll see whether the order has come. I get the impression from Corletti now that he doesn't have too much faith in himself winning this fight, but wants to come out of it looking as good as he possibly can without suffering any great indignity. That's the sort of impression I get about Corletti as he takes that right hand on the chin. This is Bugner now really opening up. He does open up, he gets his man instantly in trouble. Here's his chance with Corletti on the ropes. And Corletti now looking really desperately slow on his feet. And more often, Corletti being trapped on the ropes. Just a little short right-hand clip reminder there that Corletti isn't quite finished. Nice work by Bugner and a good fight back there by Corletti getting out of that corner. And for the first time Corletti opens up and suddenly we've got a real fight on our hands. Well, that was interesting there because Corletti suddenly began to fight back, rather like a wounded animal there, trapped on the ropes. And for the first time in this fight, he let his anger get the better of him, and he really began to lash out with two hands, and he drove Bugner right back across the ring. So now Bugner knows that his man has still got something left, and what is Bugner going to do about it?